जयपुर वाया कोटा
कृपया ध्यान आपो अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
लखनऊ जंक्शन
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವವರೇ
Hyderabad Bhattacharjya Express পরবর্তী স্টেশন নেতাজি ভবন कृपया ध्यान दियो
It's Wednesday. Are you suffering from midweek blues? Don't you worry, you've come to the right place. Now, this is a tough time for the planet, right? Tempers flaring, temperatures soaring, and so you've got to watch Cricbuzz Live to cool it a little bit. On Cricbuzz Live, we've got Mr. Cool and Mr. Doull in the house. Lots of stories on offer as DC take on GT from the Arun Jaitley Stadium. However, today, if you are feeling the blues, every time India sort of felt the blues in the 90s, we had one man to look up to. He made us all happy. He controlled India's emotional quotient. The master turns 51. Happy birthday, Sachin Tendulkar. Yeah, 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 yeah. Woo. What a happy day it's been, Joy.
It's been a wonderful day. And I remember doing the show to celebrate his 30th birthday when I was at ESPN Star Sports, where you were also for a while.
But I'm sure you have a million Sachin stories.
I have a million Sachin stories, but you know, the one I really like thinking about is a facet of Sachin that we just don't look at, which is that what he was prepared to do with the ball, okay? And he was like, you know, when he used to bowl, he was right arm anything. He could bowl leg spin, he could bowl off spin, he could swing it in. Remember, he went to the MRF Pace Academy with Saurav Ganguly?
Yep.
So, you know, we all remember that Hero Cup 93 where he had the ball in the last over, South Africa chasing 5 and they can't make it. I mean, he restricted them to 5, they couldn't make it across the line. But there are two more matches which I remember his bowling. The first was, we all remember Lakshman and Dravid's stand. But after that, the next day, Harbhajan won the match and the guy bowling on the other end who took 2-3 crucial wickets was Sachin Tendulkar.
Yeah.
And there's that one more match in 1992. He's just made his, I mean, he's just 2-3 years into international cricket. They're playing at Perth, the fastest pitch in the world. They're playing the West Indies. They scored 126, West Indies chasing. So the ball is, it's only the medium pacers are getting any help. So India bowls all its 4 medium pacers. 41st over, just 5 runs away. There's nobody to give the ball to. Sachin takes the ball and takes a wicket and the match ends tied.
Wow. You've got to check out Joy Bhattacharya's slightly naughty tweet about what Sachin did to elderly people in our country. We'll come to that in just a bit. But Simon, you bowled to the great man 30 years ago, was it?
A long time ago. I don't remember how many years ago it was. A few times through the 90s. Not much in one-day international cricket. I didn't play a huge amount of that. But I do remember, and Indians might not like to remember this, the Boxing Day Test match at Wellington when I got wickets against India. And I felt like it was one of those days where everything just went right. And I felt like I bowled really, really well. But the worst ball of the day I bowled was the one that got Sachin out. It was... you can probably find the footage of it. It was a rank half volley on leg stump and he's whacked it to square leg and Matthew Bell has taken a brilliant catch. And I think he and Azhar were putting a bit of a partnership together at that stage. They were 4 down quite early for not many. And he and Azharuddin were putting a little bit of a partnership together. And he might have been, he was mid to late 40s searching for a half century. And it was just an awful delivery. Honestly, it was leg stump and going further down leg. And he's just clipped it. And I'm just thinking, oh, it's 4. And Matthew Bell just dives at square leg and takes a beautiful catch. All of a sudden, they're 5 down and Sachin's out. So you don't always have to bowl your best ball to get the master out.
It's a souvenir like no other. Happy 51st master. 49 more at least. We've got to have 100 from you. And of course, world cricket needs a lot more of you. Now then, back to DC versus GT. Now, Gujarat Titans have won the toss and they've chosen to bowl first. They'd like to chase on a pitch that does have a lot of runs. We saw what Travis Head did in that last game. About 266 was scored. Where do these teams find themselves on the points table? One at 6 with 8, the other at 8 with 6 points. Now, the Delhi Capitals need to get going. This is a bit of a mid-table congestion kind of scenario. Win here for Gujarat will take them level on points with Lucknow. That should take them to the top half of the table. Delhi need to get going now. They are well into the second half of the league stage. They need a win. They need a win desperately. Now, it's a home game for Delhi. Not a great start to their campaign at the Arun Jaitley Stadium. Remember, they played 2 games in Vizag. But the big question that's being asked is what's plaguing the Delhi Capitals? It's not a bad squad at all, Simon.
It's a good squad, but every squad's good. It's just about how you, and we've talked so much about this situation in the last probably week or so when we've talked about Mumbai a lot. you still have to gather those players together. You have to find the right combinations, and they have to be a happy, healthy squad when they go out onto the field.
Yep.
And at the moment, there's just a few bits that aren't working for them. Their bowling unit's not really working out for them.
Yep.
Northia's having an off time of it. They are going around the park. I still don't think they've got their batting lineup sorted out completely. Yeah. So you come into game number 8, 9 of the tournament, and all of a sudden parts of your puzzle are not clicking and they're not fitting together like you thought they would. I mean, losing Mitch Marsh is a huge thing. Yeah. They banked on him batting at 3 or even opening and bowling 2 overs a game for them. So you lose a key player like that, it's not easy. But they appeared to have the backup to cover it. It just hasn't worked out that way.
The killer punch has been missing joy. 2019, 20 and 21, they made the playoffs. No trophies yet. Now, the meme factory across India has been busy focusing on RCB. The truth is, even Delhi don't have a trophy.
No, even Delhi don't have a trophy. And Delhi, I mean, the closest they came, in fact, Delhi reached the finals only this late in 2020.
Yeah.
I mean, they hadn't reached the finals before that. So, I mean, before that, they didn't even they got a couple of semi-finals, 2-3 semi-finals, but they never reached the finals. The problem with Delhi is essentially you're looking at 2 important things. One is Mitch Marsh has always been injury prone and has always gone back. He's not ever lasted a full season for them. So that's one huge issue. And the moment you know that there's Australia playing a World Cup immediately after, you know that the slightest niggle means he's gone.
Yeah.
Okay. The second thing you're looking at is the same player is looking very different. One is Nokia.
Yeah.
The second is David Warner. David Warner is not looking a shadow of the player we know. David Warner is a legitimate IPL great. He's one of the great IPL batsmen in the first 15 years of the IPL. You look at those guys, Suresh Raina, David Warner, Chris Gill, Virat Kohli. There are only 4-5 names you have there. David Warner is one of those 5 names. He's not playing like that. And what's happening therefore is somebody else has to dominate at the other end. Prithvi is coming off, not coming off form.
Yeah.
So there's a combination of a lot of factors that just doesn't make this team look like it is. And, I want to come again, I'll let Simon go on, but just a little bit more about the way the team is run. Those are also issues for me.
Ricky Ponting took charge as head coach in the year 2018. This is his 7th year in charge. Aussies expect results, and the world expects results from Aussies. What's your report card for Ricky Ponting?
Yeah, he expects results. And you look back to that graphic we just had with 2021, when they've qualified top of the table in 2021. But I was looking through the numbers or that season. You think about a bowling attack that looks like this. In their pomp, Nortje, Rabada, Avesh, Akshar, Ashwin.
Wow.
That's what they had.
That's what they had.
Yeah.
And then they had Stoinis as a bit of backup. You look at the bowling attack they've got now, with Nortje out of form, Khalil having the odd good game, Kuldeep's had 1 or 2 good games, but they're just not the same looking bowling attack.
Yeah.
Bowling attacks win you tournaments.
Yeah.
That is the biggest issue. And that's their problem at the moment. Their bowlers are going around the park. Their lead man, their number 1 man in Nortje, has been going around the park. And that's been the biggest issue for them, I think.
The management can't be faulted for putting the squad together. It's not a bad squad by any stretch. Joy. Now, you picked them as one of your 4 playoff contenders. Can they still make it?
No, for me, I mean, they were among, for my list, they were all people who, I thought 2 were sure shot contenders. The rest all were somewhere in the middle of the road.
Right.
I think the point with Delhi is that if you look at Delhi, the way Delhi is structured, it's also, if you look at the ownership, there are 2 stories that you've got to solve for Delhi. One is Ponting, Ganguly, who's running the show, who has how much, and one of them has to be the main guy. It doesn't matter who it is.
Yeah.
It could be Ponting, it could be Ganguly, but one person, because see, what happens in any place is you never want a situation where you don't know where the buck stops. So when you say who is responsible for the success or failure of the team, it's one person.
Yeah.
So it's either Ponting or it's Ganguly.
Yeah.
Okay. And whoever that person is should take responsibility for both the winning and the losing. Yeah. Okay. So I would like to see that the responsibility there is clear. And of course, the management, they're a unique team in the sense that 50% of the team is owned by 2 separate conglomerates. So, one conglomerate, JSW runs it for 2 years, the other conglomerate runs it for 2 years. That can't be easy on the management of a team. Yeah. I just put it there. I'm not saying they have done a fairly decent job of it, but it cannot be easy. The cracks, So these things, when you're winning, are okay. When you're losing, the cracks begin to show.
It's also... yeah, sure.
Sorry, no, those 2 management companies have to get together and appoint a head of cricket. And they have to decide together on who is the head of cricket for the whole organisation. Yeah. And that's who runs the cricket. And they just need to get out of it. Because there's too often these ownership groups are having too much say in who takes the field. And
I
who
think
plays
right
and
now
stuff
they
like
are
that.
saying that Saurav is the director of cricket, but is it Saurav? Is it Ponting?
Yeah.
You see, it's on field. So all those, again, when you're winning, it's all fine.
Yeah.
But when you're not winning,
It's also tough for Rishabh Pant, right, to be able to balance this sort of power dynamic between Saurav and Ponting. He's still relatively young as a captain.
A, that B is that he should be delighted to just get back in there and start playing. So there's a lot else going on through him. For him, it's also a season of redemption. He's come back, he's doing very, very well. Given where he's come from, he's doing amazingly well.
Yep.
So there's a lot. So for him, this is just one part of the puzzle that he has to solve.
Yep.
But it's not the main part. The main part is just for him to be able to come back in the field and perform.
Yep.
So you add all that together, and as I said, like Lemony Snicket, it's a series of unfortunate circumstances. As I said.
Well, it's been a slightly bipolar performance from Delhi so far, hot and cold. They haven't won 2 in a row, unfortunately, the Delhi Capitals. They kicked off their Arun Jaitley Stadium campaign with a loss against SRH, and today they've decided to make 2 changes. David Warner is not playing. Let's take a look at their 11. They will be batting first. Now, Rishabh Pant at the toss said it's not a bad toss to lose. We were anyway looking to bat first. Shea Hope is there for David Warner, and Lalit Yadav is out as well.
No surprise on the Lalit Yadav thing. The experiment didn't work the other day. 2 overs up front, he got absolutely met by Travis Head and the Sunrisers. So no surprise there. David Warner, it's a big call. Yeah, it's a big call. I mean, Shea Hope has been very upward in the last sort of 18 months in trying to improve his strike rate.
Yeah.
He knew that his strike rate for this format of the game, even in ODIs, was a little bit low. And he's really made a conscious effort to try and find a power game.
Yeah.
So you'll see glimpses of that. Whether it brings about success for him or not, I don't know. But you'll see him try and be more powerful.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I have seen with him. Fraser-McGurk at the top, absolutely fine with that. But, you know, at some stage you've got to make those big calls. A big call would have been to leave Nokia out.
Yeah.
And maybe get another overseas bowler and try something different from that front. Because that's also not been working. But maybe they just didn't want to go both at
who
once.
do they have? They have Lizard, I think.
Lizard Williams was the guy
Lizard
that
Williams.
we talked last night. We thought Lizard Williams could have been an option to come in, just freshen it up a little bit and see what happens. But they haven't gone down that road.
Yes, Nokia was quite expensive in that last game. But leaving David Warner out, is that a sign of things to come on Delhi's Project 25?
Yeah, and it's a very clear message. I think that Ricky Ponting is not going to mess around. If you've not performed, I'm sorry, somebody else has to get a chance. And I think it's a clear message to the team. In fact, look at what they did with Prithvi. They dropped him for a few matches and they said, look, get around, show us that you're capable of it. So, look, Ricky is not going to take any nonsense from any players or, pussyfoot round decisions that need to be taken.
No, there's no favours with him.
And he's going to take the decisions, he's going to take fair calls, but hard calls.
Yep.
He's not going to, because he is finally responsible to the team management to do what he has to.
JFM opens for you with Shaw?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, and I think inside the power play, it's just dynamic. You only got 2 fielders out. If he gets going, I think he's a little one-dimensional still at the moment. And having conversations with Adam Gilchrist while he was here, he doesn't actually see him as a prospect for the T20 World Cup this time around.
Oh.
He thinks it might be still a little bit too early, and he may just be a little bit. I think he's got more to learn.
Yeah.
So this one might be too soon for him. They may take him as a backup player, but this one might just be too soon for him. But he's certainly got ability and power, and that's one thing you can't coach.
Those in Delhi certainly seem to be quite excited about Jake Fraser-McGurk from Australia. He's got good numbers in the BBL as well. Now 2 half-centuries in the 3 matches he's played so far. Very, very good against spin as he is against pace. Is this the man that shall possibly replace David Warner? Would they be excited about looking at him as a potential retention or a right to match? Has he done enough, or would you want to see more?
Look, as I said, Warner is a great. Perhaps they're not. I mean, Warner, remember, you don't need to necessarily retain just Warner. You can retain any. We don't even know how many players you'll be allowed to retain. But at this point in time, yes, he's an exciting prospect. But, exactly. I think if you look at it and what Gilly's been saying, that if Adam Gilchrist doesn't feel he'll be a part of your T20 team, and what they're doing, you can imagine that if somebody is going to be a retention, not even be part of his own national team, I'd find it a bit surprising. So yeah, lots of potential, But let's not, already start signing the checks. We've done that too often in the IPL.
What are you looking for? Are there 2 or 3 basic qualities that you're looking at in a young player, first season, great start to his IPL career? Would you look at attitude off the field, just runs? What are you looking at?
You're looking at the whole package. What does he bring to our franchise, off the field and on the field? Clearly, the ability to hit boundaries is there.
Yep.
Does he have the ability against spin? He might get tested against spin today.
Yep.
Does he have that ability to work the ball around when times are tough on a slowish surface? All of these little things that he'll learn in the next 4, 5, 6 games. And he might show enough for them to say, look, we can bank our next 3 years on this man opening the batting. The one thing Delhi have generally had is Indian talent in that batting order. It's the one thing they've generally had. If you think about the Pants and the Shreyas Iyers back in the day and Prithvi Shaws, they've generally had some pretty good Indian talent. So they haven't always needed, some teams need 2 or 3 international batters. Delhi have never actually needed that. So, can he take the franchise forward? What is he like on and off the field? And can he develop his game? Once it's that second season syndrome. Once players know what he does and how he works and how he scores his runs, is he able to change as well?
Right.
Also you look at that, this thing, 292 against spin. That 292 that you see against spin is basically 2 overs of Washington Sundar bowling in the power play. Basically, so when you have small data sets, okay, it gets really skewed by 1 or 2 innings.
Yeah, 25 balls.
So that's what I'm saying. It's just two of those 25, 12 odd were from Washington Sundar.
Gujarat, what have Gujarat done in this game? Remember, they were skittled out for 89 the last time they played the Delhi Capitals, and they've gone in unchanged in this for this game. No changes whatsoever. Gujarat, they know a win tonight. It'll take them to the top half of the table. Simon, are there big changes that you were looking forward to for this game?
No, coming off a win, obviously the poor outing the game before against Delhi, those are the ones, and I've said it a couple of times on the show, they're the easier ones to get rid of because it was such an aberration, such a poor night. You can flush those ones away very quickly and just forget about it and move on. And to me, they bounced back nicely. They bounced back really well. You saw Kishore bowl beautifully in the last game, Rashid and Noor. They've got, they need more out of Miller and Omar Azai, particularly with the bat. That's been their Achilles heel. It's been, their batting lineup has been poor. This is their bowling side, I understand that, but their batting lineup just hasn't produced. Outside of Shubman Gill, it has not produced the goods. So they're going to have to bowl well and, obviously bring in their impact player,
Sai Sudarshan.
Sai Sudarshan would obviously come in, and then Miller would move to 4 and Omar Azai at 5.
62 meters, 63 meters square boundaries, 3 spinners in this bowling.
Yeah, exactly what I was thinking. I mean, they have 3 fast bowlers in the sense that Omar Azai will open the bowling for them. But you're right. I mean, to take Sai Kishore on in conditions like this and decide to bowl him in a place which is literally a handkerchief of a field, it's a brave decision. But that's exactly what I was thinking. That if they're doing that, they've seen something that we haven't. The second is that they know that if there's bowling, they can get it out first because June is then not a factor at all.
And the other thing about 2 of their spinners, in Rashid and Noor, they can bowl deep into the innings. They can bowl deeper into the innings than most spinners can. And I think that's one of the things when you look at, okay, we're playing 3 spinners, man, that's a risk. But Rashid can bowl into the 16th, 17th over. Noor can bowl into the 16th, 17th over if required. Not many spinners can do that job.
Now, Rashid Khan, clearly, he's a big fish. In the last 3 or 4 games, his economy tells you that he is very much in rhythm. He's been very difficult to get runs off. You look at his economy in the last 3 or 4 games, he's been absolutely phenomenal for his side. Today, is he the key weapon against someone like Jake Fraser-McGurk? Typically, they bowl 1 over him in the power play, the others later. Would you bowl him differently today?
He's a reluctant power play bowler.
I wonder why.
Well, I just think he prefers the field out, and he always has been. He's very rarely bowled inside. If he's bowled the 5th or 6th at best, he's a reluctant power play bowler. I might be tempted with Fraser-McGurk to go to Noor before I went to Rashid, just to take the ball away from the right-hander if they're going to give an over in the power play. If Noor Ahmed was comfortable doing that, I might be tempted to go that way rather than Rashid, but... look, he's an absolute gun. He probably he was indifferent the first couple of games, but his career strike rate and his career numbers, economy-wise, are just phenomenal. And
Yep, in this edition, his numbers are fabulous. 6.8 the economy. You'll take that in a league where you've seen 250 plus scores 5 times already. 4 overs, as good as goal. How would you bowl him?
Yeah, absolutely. No, I agree. See, the point with somebody like a Rashid is, you're going to the easier overs. Let's not call them easy. Easier overs to bowl are between 6 and 14.
Yeah.
But Rashid, if he doesn't bowl up front, he's quite happy to bowl at the death.
Yeah.
He's not scared at all of bowling at the death.
Yeah.
So if he's not comfortable bowling up front, I'd say, normally he's to come on the 7th over, and then they give him 2 out there, maybe 1 in the middle, and then 1 right towards the end. So I think how they use him is obviously also depends on game situations. You're 5 down or something, get him in, try and get a quick wicket. So it all depends on that, but they obviously trust him to go late. Otherwise, to play that third spinner would have been very risky.
It also depends on how the pace bowlers do. It wasn't a very happy outing for GT the last time because DC took about 7 or 8 overs to get those 90 runs the last time these two teams met in their previous game. Now, let's get the Chief Travel Officer of Cricbuzz to tell us if a big player is on that plane to America. Simon, you have a specific view on Rishabh Pant. Now, Ricky Ponting, who is the head coach of the Delhi Capitals, believes that Rishabh Pant has to be on that India T20 World Cup squad. Where are you on that one?
I have not decided on my 2 keepers as yet. And I've got to say, at the moment, he's probably still third in line. I look at sample sizes, I look at numbers. You can look at recency, which is this tournament, is obviously recency, and that's a big pointer towards how you're playing, how your form is. I've loved the fact that he's back playing cricket. And I said at the start of the tournament, I think we did an early game, and Joy, you might have been here with me. It was just amazing to see him back after what he has been through. Yeah. I wanted to see him get through a whole season. He still doesn't look like he's 100% fit to me, as in, getting around the park, running between the wickets, all of those things. And when I look at his international T20 numbers, and that's the key for me, have a look at those numbers. 56 innings, average of 22, strike rate of 126. That is not international quality at number 5 or 6. Yep. That doesn't tell me that he is a shoo-in in the team. And that is a very good sample size. 56 games of T20 cricket. I think he's an incredibly good, wonderful test match player. I think this is his worst format at international level. T20 is his worst format at international level. Terrifically talented, strike rate of 108, I think, in ODI one-day internationals. I think his strikes at well over 100 across his career. He got a test average in excess of 40 as a wicketkeeper batter. This is his worst format at international level. Now, those numbers to me, if you are batting at 5 and 6, I don't mind you averaging 22, but your strike rate's got to be 160, 155, 160. You can't be averaging 22 and striking at 126 and be a shoo-in for any team. So that to me says at the moment he is probably number 3 on my list behind KL and Sanju.
Joy, numbers over pedigree. Would you take a cold call if you're an Ajit Agar? Would you say, listen, let's
Thomas Doull and Associates is obviously deciding what's happening out here. But I have a question to ask you. That if he's not going to get onto the plane, which of these guys do you think you want to see on the plane?
Well, my issue is here, okay, if I'm looking at what I've got on the plane already, Jaiswal unfortunately is not going to open the batting. But he's going as my spare opening batter number 3.
Rohit and Kohli too?
Rohit and Kohli will open the batting. Okay. And KL or Sanju at 3. At the moment, I'm looking at KL Rahul at 3, Sky at 4, Shivam Dubey and Rinku Singh at 5 and 6, Jadeja at 7. That's my top 7.
Does KL make your list because of that last innings?
No, KL makes my list because of his T20 international numbers.
Okay.
You look at his T20 international numbers, they are phenomenal.
Excellent numbers.
They are ridiculously good.
Yep.
His T20 international numbers. Now, Sanju's only played just over 20 games. He's been shuffled in and around the order. He hasn't really had a consistent run at international T20 cricket. But I think he's got the capability to bat 1, 2 or 3 if required.
Yeah.
And so that's where I'm sort of leaning at the moment. I don't need a middle order player who only strikes at 126 as my keeper. Because I think that's a bit of a waste. Because when I've got Rinku Singh and Shivam Dubey and Sky at 4, 5 and 6, I'm not looking for a player who strikes at 126. Because those guys are going to strike at 150, 160.
India hasn't won a World Cup or a World Trophy since 2013. The Champions Trophy was the last that India won, where it came very close on the 19th of November. India needs a World Cup. Would you take a tough call and say, listen, let's keep emotions aside. Let's not allow Twitter to select a team? Because I know Rishabh Pant's massively popular on Twitter. What would you do?
I think the gentleman he plays a lot of golf with, Ajit Agarkar, is not watching Twitter. He's not watching anything. And I think it's amazing the way he's gone about doing it. They want to take hard decisions because you're not going to win a World Cup by taking easy decisions. But I think, and I say this with all respect, I think they hamstrung themselves by declaring that far out that Rohit was to be captain. At this point, in this format, I'm not sure Rohit Sharma was the captain that India needed. I leave aside the fact that I have the utmost respect for him. I think he's an amazing cricketer, but he's not in the batting form to be an automatic selection for India. And therefore, once you announce a captain for somebody who's not an automatic selection, you're stuck because one position is taken up. Logically, if you think about it logically, what do? You say that, okay, Virat is batting in that kind of form. Jaiswal is that kind of player. If it's not Jaiswal, Shubman is that kind of player. You have two guys, there are at least two people who are batting better than Rohit in the opening position at this point in time. But the moment you announced him as captain, he has to be part of the 11, which is why somebody else has to play at 3.
Who would you rather have as captain?
See, this is my point, that at this point in time, it doesn't matter whether Virat is captain or you give the captain, but the point is the captain has to be a sure-shot member of the team. For me, I'd put Bumrah as captain.
Interesting.
So my point is, and it's nothing against Rohit, please understand. And why is Rohit doing this? Rohit is doing this because he's done everything in cricket that he needs to do. There's only one thing in cricket that he wants to do, that's win a World Cup. He saw that in 27. He wants to bookend his career. You know, they call it bookending. You start and you finish. He wants to bookend it. Start with a World Cup win, end with a World Cup win. And it's a dream. It's a fantastic dream. So wish him all the best. But that's the point, that at this point in time, on pure form, there are at least 2 batters who should be on that plane before him.
India will soon have to deal with this captaincy transition phase. They're going with Rohit for now. At some stage, they will have to look at options. Now, one of the names that is being touted as a potential future India captain, Shubman Gill, still very early days in his IPL captaincy career, only 7 games in, or 8 games in. And we've got a question about what tagline you'd associate with Shubman Gill's style of captaincy. If Dhoni was captain cool, if Rohit was tactically astute, for Kohli it was aggressive. Given that we've seen whatever we have of Gill and the kind of qualities he possesses, what's his tagline? Asks Lakshit Sehgal. We like taglines, don't we, after social media has arrived in our lives?
Yeah, everybody's got a tagline. They've got to have one. I was thinking along those lines, but I'm going to go with Captain Smooth.
Captain Smooth, eh?
Captain Smooth, because it doesn't look like he gets ruffled. He seems to handle situations pretty well. Even in losing causes, I've seen him make predominantly the right bowling decisions, the right changes. And I think when you think about smooth, you think about even keel across the board, not too up, not too down.
Yeah.
And so I would say, and he's got the GQ looks as well, hasn't he? I mean, he's there. So I'm going to go with Captain Smooth.
The GQ looks is the polite way of saying thirst trap pictures on Instagram. Won't go there. But under the radar, very quiet, very non-controversial.
I wouldn't call him captain anything. I'll just call him the postman because he always delivers.
I like that. Joy Bhattacharya also always delivers some tough questions. Today, I thought since it's Sachin Tendulkar's birthday, he might have a gentle loosener for us on this midweek encounter between DC and GT. We will come to Joy Factor in just a bit. Let's first take a look at the impact sub-options. Sumit Kumar, I believe, will come in, is what was said at the toss for his side for the Delhi Capitals. Let's take a look at the 5 names. Sumit Kumar looks the most likely, I suppose, with Delhi batting first, unless they need a Kumar Kushagra, Joy.
They could go...
If there is a collapse.
If there's a collapse, that's my point. That all these are both looking at a situation where the last 2 are definitely choices. If there's a batting collapse, put in, because remember, they're batting at this point in time, Akshar Patel at 7. So most teams are batting a batter at 8 now with the impact sub, so they're probably just holding that in hand.
But wait till that collapse happens. This is a massive issue about last night that I know they got home in the end last night, Lucknow, but it was a massive mistake putting Padikkal in before using their resources. They've put their impact player into a situation when they've got so many resources to come.
Still to come. Yeah, exactly.
You know, use your resources before you even think about your impact player. Wait till you're in real trouble. Because it almost cost them the game. Now, thankfully, it didn't from their point of view, and it's just lumped a whole heap more pressure on a young man. If they had lost, he would be in bits.
Some strange captaincy calls from both captains last night, CSK and LSG. For now, though, let's take a look at the LSG 5. Who will they have on their impact? The GT5, not LSG5. Here they are. Sai Sudarshan most likely, Joy, when they come into bat next?
Definitely. Almost surely Sai Sudarshan, unless their bowlers go for so many runs that they need to bring in a Darshan Nalkande or somebody.
Right.
But otherwise, almost certainly Sai Sudarshan.
Time now for Joy Factor.
Okay. Yeah, goes. It's a bit interestingly phrased, but I think you'll like it. Once Ishant and Bumrah both took 5-wicket hauls in the same test match, but neither won the Player of the Match award.
Yeah.
Who was the venue named after?
Wow.
So this is like, asking something, one specific question, and then the answer goes in the other direction.
Not a clue. Not a clue.
I don't have a clue either. There's a gentleman who was with us until last night. I believe he's watching Cricbuzz live from Singapore's business class lounge. Mr. Adam Gilchrist is watching us.
Ah, lovely.
Hello, Gilly. Hello.
Gilly.
We miss you already. Come back soon. This time, maybe you could try getting Michael Vaughan alongside. We'll have an Ashes conversation between an Englishman and an Aussie. So, hello to Gilly and you guys and girls. Enjoy the first innings and do join us at the halfway mark. But before you guys and girls go, prediction. First innings.
I was wondering.
Yeah, predictions. First innings.
Doesn't seem like a high-scoring one, apparently. 193.
174.
181. Safe. Prithvi Shaw's just hit a boundary of the first ball. So enjoy the game. Do join us at Cricbuzz live after this innings. Bye for now.
Jaipur via Kota.
कृपया ध्यान आपको अहमदाबाद
दिल्ली में आपका स्वागत
ನಿಲ್ದಾಣದ ಕಡೆಗೆ ಹೊರಟಿರುವರೆ
हाइड्रोबैको 50 एक्सप्रेस पौरबती स्टेशन नेताजी भवन कृपया ध्यान दें